starting off we're gonna simulate the engine's rotational output by putting a motor with any speed in here. And then we're just gonna color it green to indicate that it's the input of the clutch. After putting 3 cylinders in total, now we're gonna put a 5x5 cylinder in here. If you're putting it into a mechanical car, this plate will be attached to the same rotational object as the engine's crankshaft. And then we're gonna change the material to fabric to increase the friction. Next up, you're gonna want to put some half blocks in here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these sides of the cylinders. We're putting these half blocks in order to make the first plate. Now we're just gonna put half block wedge, which is located in half blocks, and half block wedge in here. Now you're gonna want to place it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the other side of the plate, and now we're gonna want to put it inside of the plate. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you've got your first plate. However, in order to get the maximum efficiency, you're gonna want to change the material to fabric. The reason why we're not using a normal 5x5 cylinder is that we're gonna want to have a hole in the middle of it, which is basically not possible if you're simply using this kind of cylinder. Now we're just gonna make the second plate. In order to do that, you simply need to place half blocks in this order. After that, you're gonna want to grab some half block wedge and half blocks and rotate it like so. Now we've got our second plate. However, don't forget to change the materials to fabric in order to increase the friction. After having 3 plates in total, now we're gonna want to squeeze the middle plate, which is the input of the plate. To do that, you simply need to grab some pistons and then after you place the pistons like so, you're gonna want to grab this half block and then rotate it like this. Just place it on top of here. After that you're gonna want to connect the body of the pistons with the first plate. To do that, we just need to grab this half block and scroll down a bit. You'll see half wedge 2. Just put the half wedge in this rotation. After that, we're gonna want to have a smaller block. To do that, we're just gonna grab on some half blocks and then scroll down a bit. You'll see half wedges in here. Grab that one and place it in here. For this one, you don't need to make it a fabric since it's not making any contact with the main input cylinder. Now we've got to connect this half wedge to this first plate. In order to do that without making any collisions, we're gonna grab on some text which is located in this light logo, and then signs, and then grab on some 1, 2, 3 text. Don't forget to rotate it as so that the text is touching the cylinder, the 5x5 cylinder. This won't matter because text doesn't have any collisions. Now after we've done that, we're just gonna create the output of the clutch. The output itself will be colored red. Now we're just gonna put on some bearings in here to hold it in place, and then some anchor block to represent your vehicle. Before you spawn, don't worry to configure a few settings here, which is the pistons. Make the distance to maximum, and also make the max force to maximum as well. And also don't forget to toggle it, because you don't want to press the clutch the entire time when you need to drive. Now just press this plain logo, which means launch. We're gonna spin the input and then we're gonna engage the clutch. Something's not right here. So as you can see, even though the clutch is already engaged, the first plate is not engaged yet. Why does this happen? This is because the body of the pistons cannot go backwards because it's locked in a single position. In order to fix it, we're going to replace these two cylinders with a suspension. You can find suspensions in gear and then click on suspension here. And now we're gonna scroll down and you'll see some ropes in here. Now we're gonna put it below the suspension. Now for the settings, you need the suspension stiffness to be around 5, which is the optimum number for the plate to not go backwards by itself due to gravity. And now we're gonna change the free length to 5. The stiffness and the free length of this suspension could change depending on what type of car you're having. Now we're just gonna press X. Now we're gonna choose rope. Just put some random controls, a control that you're never even pressing it, and then we're just gonna straightforward hit X. Now we're gonna see if it really works. We're gonna spin the input once again, and now we're gonna engage the clutch by pressing F. As you can see, it works. However, there's still one more problem, which is of course vibrations. In order to fix this, now you don't need to worry too much about this since there's an easy fix for it, in fact. In order to fix it, just head on to build mode again. And now you're gonna want to place ballast block at the end of the suspension. Now we're gonna place 2 of them to balance it. And we're gonna put some numbers like 4. And now we're gonna do the final test for the clutch. We're gonna spin the input as usual, and then we've engaged the clutch. As you can see, there's no vibrations again. As you can see, there's no vibrations happening again in this clutch. How is this possible? This is because the heavier the object is, the harder it is to accelerate or deaccelerate, especially when it's on a crazy vibrations like before. Which is why when you happen to meet one of your mechanical buildings vibrate a lot, you could just put some ballast block on it and then simply increase the weight of it. Bonus tip: if you happen to see that your car is still vibrating, you could increase the density of the ballast block itself. Like for example 5, like this one. And now it should be a lot smoother. If you're using way too many ballast block, it would eventually slow down your car itself. But when you're not even using any of them, you're just basically going to make the clutch unusable due to the insane vibrations that's happening with the clutch. And there you have it, a double-sided working clutch. And now we're gonna test it on a vehicle. This car uses the exact same clutch like the one that I built before. So this is basically what the clutch did in action. As you can see, it propels it so strong, which is also why I mostly use this type of clutch that I made. Alright, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get some more of this mechanics tutorial, and I'll see you in the next video.